everybody, it's Carl Brown from GuitarLessons365.com, and today we're going to take a look at the chord style of the great Eric Johnson. Now this is going to be across a few videos because this kind of style playing is kind of so expansive, and I've been trying to think of a good way to teach it, so I'm going to break it up within a few videos. We're going to first take a look at a few things that make up his chord style that he uses a lot, and then we're going to take a look at what I just played in the intro. It's just a little piece of music that I wrote using his style and his chords, a lot of the voicings he likes, and a lot of the techniques that he uses. And then we'll talk about how to create your own, okay, and just the concept of how to use all this stuff. All right, so first of all, what you want to know about his chord style is 95% of the time he uses kind of like a pianistic picking style here. Now what that basically means is, let's say, instead of strumming chords, he likes to pick the bottom note with his pick, and then the other, this pinky, the ring, and the middle finger, he likes to use to pluck the strings at the same time, so all the strings are sounded at the same time. So some of it he uses 3-note voicings or 4-note voicings. Particularly when he does either 3 or 4-note voicings, he's always hybrid picking, and that's what that's kind of called, hybrid picking, when you're using a pick and the fingers at the same time. So you're going to want to work on that style of playing. I have some videos on hybrid picking if you want to check it out that'll really get that going. So that's the first thing. Now the most apparent thing about his chord style is what we're going to talk about today, and what you want to download the PDF tutorial that goes with this. You can get it at the site, and you'll see the link underneath the video. Now this is going to have the use of open position, open triads, major and minor mostly, but we're going to go through all the triads within the key through different inversions. And then we're going to talk about more devices in the coming videos, and then we're going to put it all together. So let's take a look at this. An open triad is, let's say we have a C major triad. It's 3 notes, C, E, and G. So we have C, C, E, and G right there. Now, so we can play that G, the C here, and that G is that 3rd string open. We can move that to the 5th fret on the 4th string. But that E that was on the 4th string, what you do when you make a chord open is you routinely take the middle note, not all the times, but you take the middle note, and what he usually does at least, and he moves it up an octave. So instead of that E being there, that note in the middle, it's up here. The E that is an octave higher. Okay? So now we've got, now that's a favorite device of his chord style, is these open voiced chords. And his lead style. He uses them a ton in his lead style, which I have videos on that as well. So we have the first root position, since the root note of the C major chord is in the bass. And I'm going to go through up all the triads in this key. Now we're going to go up from, in the key of C major, we have a C major chord as the 1 chord, go up to the 2nd tone of the scale, and we're going to have a minor chord shape built off that. It's really close to the major shape, except instead of your pinky here, you're going to move back 1 fret and use your 2nd finger to play that. So if you follow along on paper, it would be easy to read. And then we have E minor. Now I'm plucking these with the bottom note with my pick, the note that my 3rd finger is playing with my middle finger on my right hand, and then the ring finger is taking the top note, the high pitch note. And then we go to F major, so we're back to the major shape of it, G major, then back to the minor shape off of A. This is the bottom note, the A is telling the root note, and then we have a B diminished. Okay, so that's a little bit different shape. Just keep following along. And then we're back to C. So we have every triad in that key. Now the great thing about this is he does this on different string sets, and it's the same patterns, the same shapes. So let's move everything over or down 1 string. So now F is the root note on the 4th string. Your 3rd finger is at the 5th string, 5th fret on the 3rd string, and your pinky's at the 5th fret on the 1st. There we have F major chord. Now all the chords in the key work the same way. This is a major shape, and then the minor shape with the 2nd finger here. So all the major and minor root shapes are the same on with these three strings as they are with these three. Okay? And keep in mind there's a string in there that we're skipping because it's an open voicing. Now coming down to build that same thing off the root, the sixth string, we're going to have a little bit different. Instead of this being your major shape, the one that was the minor shape before is now the major shape built off the sixth string. Then come up to the 5th fret, pick up your second finger, and that's going to allow this, you're going to have to be doing a bar here. So the minor note, for the minor shape, since you have to drop that off, and that bar is going to take care of that 5th fret at the 3rd string, up to the 3rd chord, 3 chord, 4, 5, back to the majors, back to the minor here, the 6th chord. Okay, now we have, this is in G now, since we started on G here. So now we're at these F sharp here, and this is just the first finger on the F sharp, G on the, C on the 5th string with your second finger, and then the bar is going to take care of this A here on the 3rd string. You're skipping the 4th, and then round it out. Okay? Those are all root positions, meaning if it's a G chord, G's in the bass, or an A chord, A's in the bass. We have different inversions, which basically means it's the same 3 notes. So if you had a G major chord down here, which we just finished working off of, but you take the same 3 notes, which is G, B, and D, but you don't have G in the bass. You put B in the bass. Now if you put B in the bass, it's a first inversion triad. It's still called G major, but it's called G major and first inversion. So now he uses a lot of first inversion shapes, and if you had the D in the bass, it'd be second inversion. He uses less second inversion shapes than he does first inversions. It's mostly root position and first inversions, but we're going to do the second inversions as well too on the paper. They'll be on the paper, but I'm not going to really go through them on the video. So we have right here, I have a G major. There's B, it's the 3rd of the G major chord. And there's G, so the root note's always going to be played with a pinky in this shape. And then you got your D here with your second finger here. So we're using the strings, we're skipping a string, we're skipping the 3rd string again. This is all going to be built off the 5th, 4th, and 2nd strings. And whatever pinky note your pinky's playing is going to name the chord. So you need to get really familiar with how to determine what chord this is. Like you can memorize this as a major chord shape, first inversion. This is what tells you what major chord, A, B, C, or D, or whatever. So right here, it's at a G. So we have a G major chord. The 2 chord in the key of G major is A minor. So the minor shape's going to just be slightly different. We're going to move this up to A, and your first finger needs to be back 1 more fret. It's kind of a stretch, but that's his style, and that's how he gets this big open sound. And then we're up to B minor, the 3rd chord. Then back to the major shape. This pinky goes up to the C on the 4th string. And we have the C chord in first inversion. Then the D chord, which is the 5th chord in the key in first inversion. Then the E minor. Okay? And then the F sharp here. F sharp diminished. That's a little bit different shape, a little bit of a stretcher. Just look at the page and practice these a little bit. And it's real important to know where the root note is so you can name the chord. And the last one we'll take a look at, you can just take that and move it over. We're back to C here, the same shape, but we're starting here on the 4th string. You can use these in lead playing too. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we have C here, then move up to D for D minor, so it's a D minor shape. So that drop back, so the shapes are the exact same. Okay, so get your hands around these things and knowing what the names of the chords are. In the next lessons, we're going to take a look at how he uses some kind of contrapuntal lines where he's implying chords, but not necessarily. It's kind of a chord melody style he does throughout all his chord work, but especially with these little single note lines, he really kind of outlines the chords instead of actually playing the full chords, and how he applies some 7th shapes and he uses some 7th chords, and how he uses some open position suspended chords and power chords. All right, so that's all coming in the next videos. So get these open position triads down, And stay tuned. We got a lot left to cover. All right? Please go to Guitar Lessons 365 and to keep following along and support the site in any way you can. All right? See you guys soon. Bye-bye.